This is a Saturday video, live. Just gonna walk through, take a look at some things. Yeah, my poor Citrina up there is just not well for the world. Hey Nina, trying to give it a winter's rest, but it just does not look well for it. Should not be losing its leaves. It's just, I just hope it makes it through. I don't want to water it because that will probably make it worse. I'll just try to increase mistings on that. And some of these things down here, these are typically my resting dendrobiums. Not sure, this has never bloomed for me. Not sure what these bumps are. This is my Dendrobium thistlephorum that I just mounted on this piece of chala wood last year. This is my Farmeri up there. And this is my Dendrobium crystallinum. Some other resting things. My Tortillae, it's right there. So just strolling through here briefly, seeing what's going on, checking on these encyclias that are up here. This one is, what's that say, encyclia? Fowler's folii. Really hoping that does something. This should be putting up some of its spikes pretty soon. It should, from those growths, those new growths behind there. It should. So honestly, there's really only a month left. I generally start watering things again, getting back onto their, hey Summer, getting back to the regular sort of summer regime. Come February. Hey Denise, I didn't see you come in. But yeah, February around Valentine's Day is when I usually start to fertilize again and pick up the watering. Still barely watering, mostly just misting, honestly. Maybe I give them a drink once a month along with a little bit of fertilizer. But that's about it. There are some things that are still growing. I still give it more water. But these back here are not growing. This encyclia just started putting up some new growths. So I'll probably begin to water that. Yeah, I noticed there's new growths coming up. And there's another new growth over there. So that's my plicata, which still is hanging on to those blooms. And the light is bad, I know. But it is still hanging on. It's been at least 8 months that this plant has been in bloom. I had hoped this would bloom, but it's not going to. This is my Encyclia astrolabium. Yeah, it's we've had weird weather. That's the best way to describe it. We had freezing. We had some sleet. Then it snowed a little bit. Then it rained, melted all the snow, and then it froze last night. So we had ice this morning. Then it got up to, well, now it's in the 30s, so it all melted, which is good. And I guess it's supposed to get cold again tonight, down into the teens, I guess. I'm so happy for this plant. Those nice roots. There's another growth. And then actually there's a growth right there coming up. I wish that this would bloom. This is my Arpaphyllum giganteum, and it usually blooms in the spring, but I got this in the middle of the summer from Nats, and it has previously bloomed. These are divisions. This is a division, I should say, and so this is the newest growth. We will see. I still need to get rid of that junk over there in that corner. Such an eyesore when I make these videos, but oh well. That's the dump corner. I'm sure everyone has one of those, even if it's in their house. You know, I almost think I am thinking a little bit more positively about at least this Roger Getza, because the pseudobulbs are firm. Well, there's only one. This was the rest of the plant, which you can see it's no more. But I'm letting it stay there just because it's right now, whatever's left of it is supporting this one pseudobulb, which seems healthy at the moment. So fingers crossed on that for real, because if that one does not come through, I probably will be giving up on Roger Getz's, which isn't such a bad thing. Can't grow everything. So, taking a look at this. This is my Angraecum germanianum, which again, I got this in the summer, last summer. And it was outside in shade with dappled sun, and it survived surprisingly, and it's continuing to grow, so it mostly gets misted. It's mostly bare root with a little bit of bark in there. Here's that again. Very, very pretty. Still hoping for more buds in this. That's funny, you know, I was making that comment yesterday, or maybe it was last week, when I was doing my unboxing video. I was making the comment that I've been trying extra hard to keep better track of stuff that's on the ground. I mean, of course, you know, I'm not about to climb under there and bother with under the shelf. Well, hey, Mick. But as far as in the walkways, and I mean, this is where I usually sweep it to right here, and then there's my can, but I need to really, I've been doing a lot of better job. I usually don't, and I like it better clean, but you know, I did like the rest every winter's past, where I didn't clean the greenhouse, I didn't sweep the floor, I just figured leaves falling is a part of dormancy, which it is, but it is better to keep it clean aesthetically. But I don't care about aesthetics, but it just looks better. And that's where the pests hide, to be quite honest. So I have enough to deal with as it is. So got to try to do a lot better because I always have scale every day of the year. So that's the way I look at it. But I think I'm gonna finally have to repot this. I thought I said I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to have to because you can see it's probably not even getting any nutrients inside of that pot, which is just sphagnum. But there are some green tip roots in there, so maybe it's not so bad, but it just will look better. And there is another spike that's on the other side of there. I think I'll just leave it here for now. That won't take me long at all. Very simple. So, hopefully everyone is having a good weekend so far. I'm just kind of out here walking through. I just thought I'd take you with me. Probably won't be here that long. This is, I came out earlier this morning, about 7, and I turn on the lights and make sure the humidifiers are all filled. And, I've always dealt with bugs. I've always dealt with bugs, always. And, I can tell you that this area right here, for some reason, every plant, closer to the window, but this area between here and there, every plant that I've ever had in this area has got scale. And I don't, I've scrubbed the area down. I've done everything. I don't understand it. I've even increased the airflow. I've got a fan right above it. But still, I really have to be extra vigilant with the plants that are in this area because for some reason, these plants always, not these plants in particular, but the plants in the past in this area have always got scale. No matter what the configuration is, it's always been right here. But just in general, I'm taking plants in and out of here every day into the kitchen to spray them down. I didn't do that either. I would just leave this. I would see the scale, and I would leave it on the plant because I knew in a few months I would be bringing the plant outside, and I would just do a complete mass, extermination as I'm bringing the plants out one by one. That was what I used to do, and it worked. But it's better when you don't have to deal with so much at one time. If you get a little bit of it done, a little bit at a time, then it doesn't seem so overwhelming. Same with repotting. It's something that you just can't put off when you really know that it's past the time to repot something. You just can't put it off. And I used to do that as well, knowing that I could do that when I would carry them all outside. But in any event, whatever works for me may not work for you. And, like I say, this is the first season that I've really paid attention in the winter. And I've enjoyed the break. But I don't know. I think they enjoy me being out here more than me not being out here. Me keeping it warmer. Yeah, some things are inevitably. Some of these things over here were struggling when I bought them in, and they should have actually been just tossed over the fence. Like this one, I know, and this one. This is my Capanemia superflua, which I don't know. I've never grown one. It was a gift given to me, honestly, and it got a new growth, and then the growth matured, and I think it died. The new growth died off because the rain was too much for it, and it just got very soggy and just ended up dying. But it still looks like part of the plant is still alive, so I'm not ditching it yet. And here is my other, that's a Dendrobium caneliculatum, which I was giving up for dead this summer. It was outside and it lost basically the whole plant, but then it put up some new growths at the end of the season. Same with this encyclia. You know, it looks like there's a pseudobulb that's still left on it, but some of the new growth didn't. The one that previously bloomed, it didn't do so well. So this is like the little rescue corner up here. My underperformers that are there, but they're not there, given their last little chance. And this one's probably going to go soon, of course. I know this was my, this had scale, and I know that the one that I have now has scale as well. And this is Borsavala nodosa crossed with pradit spots, Cattleya pradit spots. Every one of those I've always had scale with. And it's probably, I think I got it with scale, or I noticed the scale soon after. But it was one of those things that I didn't say anything to the seller, because I buy a lot of things from that particular seller, and I didn't want to sound like I was complaining. So, plus, I hardly ever saw that cross, pradit spots crossed with, I think it was maybe black pradit spots or prince pradit spots, something like that, crossed with nodosa. If Denise is here, she probably knows the one I'm talking about, but it's definitely spotted, because pradit spots has Cattleya, it's a species, Rontiaca, no, not Rontiaca, bicolor, which a Chlandii, that's what it is. And it's a bifoliate. So, yeah, it's so I've tried so many times. In fact, there's one right there, I'm pretty sure, that I just sprayed and used. I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, I just sprayed it, and it's totally struggled ever since I got it. Pradit spots times nodosa, black prince times Borsavala nodosa. And you can see, and I probably should clean it better, honestly, but you can see the scale. I didn't see any scale when I sat it back down here, but as I'm looking at it even now, I can see scale on the plant right there. And it could be under the sheath, but as I said, you know, this is a weak plant to begin with, and it's totally was infested with scale. You can see this is the effects of scale and just dehydration when you leave a plant. But this plant always was struggling for me, every plant of this that I've had. And that plant over there is the same plant as the pradit spots that I just showed you. And every single one of them has been totally an underperformer. And I swear they both the ones that I had came with scale. But because it's, you know, I want to have it, and, you know, you kind of introduce these things into your collection, assuming a risk, I suppose. Sometimes those risks aren't so worth it, but I've given up on it. No more pradit spots, I promise. No more. And honestly, if one of these do not bloom for me soon, I'll be giving up on these too, because these plants take up a bit too much room for them not to bloom. And this is my, I've talked about this underwhelmer before. This is BC North Miami. And the pictures of it are so beautiful. I'm sure other people in here have got it to bloom, not me. Not a single one. They always grow so wonky. This is one of the latest growths from last year. There's another one. I mean, they were decent growths. I mean, there's another growth right here, but there's no flowers. And it does have a couple or three newer growths, but never a flower. Guess it could be still a baby. I don't know. I'll give it a little bit longer before I replace it with something more friendly. I recently repotted this and it didn't like it. As you can see, every leaf is brown. This is my Area Clausa. And this bloomed for me last spring. Got this a year ago at Andy's. And it was in a, sphagnum moss basket with a lot of moss. Likes a lot of moisture. Is a miniature. But you can see, doesn't like it. Maybe it's too much light. No. Because I had it right there last year and it did pretty well. So I guess sometimes those things happen. They just wasn't meant to be if it doesn't recover out of that. Just wasn't meant to be. What else? I'm really waiting on some of these buds. On this Phalaenopsis, I guess there's still a long ways to go. Even on that bud, that's right there, still a long ways to go. This is a fairly recent acquisition. This is Phal Corningiana. It's a cross. Supposedly the blooms smell like grapes or grape juice, I don't know, grape jam. The spike is slowly. And I did clean off this. Did get in there and get that white fly that was, or the mealybugs that was in there. So it is clean now. So we will see if that spike progresses. We shall see. So I'm just kind of taking a look at things. I really like when I see a burst of roots at the bottom, especially of dendrobiums like that. Sort of gives me the impression that something is developing or something is going to happen. Either a new growth or it's going to start putting up an inflorescence. And it should. I'm surprised some of my dendrobiums are not doing anything. I mean, I'm getting new growths out of that one, but really the other ones are pretty quiet. Not showing me any sign of anything, which is kind of disappointing. My big Bruce Gordon, like I'm saying, it's still putting up new growths. Over here, there's one here. This is a newly matured growth from summer, as is this one over here. No sign of a spike though. And this is another one that bloomed for me really nice. That's my cross. These are all Laturias. And this one as well. It's got a little new growth over there. But no sign of any spikes. Well, hey there, Orchids and Garden. And even the same as this one over here. this wonky new growth over here that has matured. I need to stake that up. But still, these dendrobiums bloom off of old growths, old pseudobulbs. So I should still be seeing spikes on the old growths. And that is still progressing. Well, thank you. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just about ready to leave this place. I have my dinner in the oven, and I'm going to probably go watch a little bit of football before it gets a little bit too late. I just wanted to do a little bit of a brief walkthrough. But yeah, I'll have to check out your channel too, Orchids and Garden. My insects smell so nice, so very nice. I'm really expecting great things out of this. This is my area, javanica. Okay, go ahead, Nina. I hear you. I don't. You asked me that a little while ago, and I don't. That was lost the two, or was it last fall? I think it was lost two winters ago. Yeah, it was lost 2 winters ago. It was a blooming size. The one it actually was heading on that road for two reasons. The summer before the winter that it actually lost, because it was the winter that my greenhouse lost power. It was when was it last year? No, it was the year before last when I didn't lose power, but I can't remember. Something happened. My greenhouse got too cold, or I think I was out of town and I forgot to leave. That's what happened. I forgot to leave my heater running like I usually do when I'm gone for 3 weeks. And while I was gone, it froze and it snowed actually, and I lost everything that was in this area, along with my Phalaenopsis gigantea that used to hang here, my big blooming size one. Then I lost my Cimbadella rotachilla. That's what you're talking about. It used to hang right here in the wintertime, and it was a blooming size, yeah. But before that, it had really caught a bad case of scale from being outside in the. It was outside all summer, that summer before. And then when I brought it in after I had scrubbed it all clean, but rotachilla, it looks like this, and the scale was all in there. So I had to literally peel all of this back to spray in there and get all of the scale out. So it was not in good health before I brought it in. But then when I had it up here, it was really close to the top. It was cold, it got cold, and it was dead when I got back, unfortunately, because I've never been able to find another one of those anywhere. They have them at H&R, but they're babies, seedlings, like in 2-inch pots, which will take a lifetime for it to mature and be blooming size. But yeah, that plant was something spectacular. I miss it so much, but I try not to think about that. Because I enjoyed it while I had it. For sure, it blessed me with blooms, really, and it was a beautiful plant. It was a main plant, and it had a kiki at the bottom of it, a small kiki, kind of like this. And I saved the kiki because the kiki was alive when I got back. So I took the kiki off, but it really did not have much roots. It might have had one root, and this is an angraecum. But the Cimbadella, the one that I had, was about this big, and it has similar growth habit. That's why I'm sort of illustrating with my angraecum. But yeah, I missed that plant. Along with that plant, I lost my angraecum viguiere, which was mounted on a piece of wood that was probably that size, and it hung down about 3 feet. So you lost yours? Or what happened to yours? I am planning on getting another one. In fact, I think I did order one. I should be, H&R is not shipping to me yet, but I did order one. Oh, okay, I hear what you're saying. I didn't know that they were so sensitive, but I suppose they could be. I didn't really view it as a sensitive plant when it was in my... okay, I see. I see. Well, see, that's why I worry so much about repotting angraecums, because can you imagine trying to repot this? Because it's sturdy right now, but taking it out of all of this mess and then trying to put it in something else and trying to keep it sturdy and erect, that is a chore. Plus trying to be gentle and delicate and not trying to mess with its roots. You know, that's why I think a lot of the times, if I have to repot some of these, if I have to repot these again, instead of trying to put it in a little pot, what I'm going to try to do, honestly, is try and get a big piece of cork. You know, even if it's that big, it's going to have to be bigger than that, and just plaster the plant to that and just tie the roots around the mount and just mount it like that. That would probably be the more gentler, friendlier way than trying to unravel all of that. We'll see. We'll see. Because I know I'm going to have to deal with that. That's been in that situation for, it'll be a year coming this spring. And this one as well. At some point, I'm going to have to deal with this. This is my longer calcar, my angraecum. And, you know, I'm going to have to. Because it's already root bound. Already. And these plants do not. It's like either you repot it or it dies. And then you risk repotting it and it dying as well. So it's, you know, I don't know. I'm going to try to leave it in there as much as I can. But I guess I could just cut it and then just... That's what I did with that one, because that was inside one of those little flimsy plastic pots. And the roots really were not disturbed much from when I took it out of that little plastic pot. So there's still old media in there that, you know, like I said, at some point in the next year or year and a half or 2 years, I'm going to have to deal with that, or else that is going to start souring, and then it's going to get acidic, and then my roots are not going to like it. I know it. I know it. So I have to start thinking about those things right now. Like I'm thinking about this lamp, which I finally got in touch with Natalia and sent her the dimensions, and I think she's going to do something. But I know this week she's at Tamiami, and I know she's busy and all of that. But I think the plants, despite it getting some heat damage, it's still okay. It's still okay. Trust me, when I water it, those roots turn green like that. So it is good. It is good. And yeah, I thought I was losing this. This got some cold damage. A lot of the plant died off, but I can see these are still okay. So there's still some of that cold damage that's the result of it. So hopefully these seem to be okay. We will see. But yeah, guys, I am going to head on inside, but I appreciate you all showing up. I will hopefully get something together for tomorrow Hopefully there'll be activity going on. Well, there's always something going on. But something new and exciting, we shall see. Hey, Fernanda. But yeah, it was nice talking with you all. And I will see you all soon. Enjoy your orchids. Bye.